video, I'm going to walk you through removing the housing on your Robo E3 printer. Now, this can be helpful if you have any issues related to the screen, where you might need to check the wiring or replace that component, or if you've simply dropped a piece into the housing itself. I'll also show you how you can access the mainboard on the bottom of the printer in case you need to do any other wiring checks. Now, before you get started, if this is related to needing to troubleshoot the stepper motor up here on the filament side of the machine, you don't actually have to take the housing apart to get to that. So look for our video specifically on unclogging the stepper motor to access that component, rather than take apart the entire housing. In order to do this process, you're going to need a small Phillips head screwdriver as well as an Allen wrench. If you have filament loaded, go ahead and either unload it or use wire clippers to simply detach it from your machine. We're going to be removing 2 screws from the right-hand side near where the filament goes in, as well as one on the side pointing towards the filament. Next, use the Allen wrench to loosen but not remove the 3 screws on the left-hand side. This will just give you a little bit of wiggle room when you go to remove the other components. Next, we're going to flip the printer onto its back to be able to access the 2 screws at the top of the machine here. Now, notably, if you are trying to access the main board as well, you simply remove these 4 screws here so you can access the main board behind this panel. With the printer on its back, remove the 2 screws here at the top that secure the top component of your housing to the printer. Set the printer back right side up, and now you're going to pop this top panel loose. It will take a little bit of force, but you can sort of push the side panel a little bit out of the way because you loosened it at the bottom, and simply push up carefully around the machine. You can then access the hidden one inside the green panel. It's okay if it falls into the machine, because you'll be able to retrieve it when you take this side panel off. Now, before we can do that, we need to give it a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more room to separate the different panels. So we're going to remove the screw up at the top center here. We're also going to remove the 2 screws on the inside pointing towards the front that will release the front panel. Alright, with all of those screws removed, you should now be able to sort of tilt the front panel away from the machine. You do have some pins on both sides, so just try and be careful as you're separating these pieces. It may get a little loud. But with the front panel separated, you can now retrieve that screw you dropped if you're like me. With that detached, you can now access everything you need to related to the screen itself, whether it's checking the connections with the ribbon cables or unscrewing and replacing the screen itself. Now, I'm going to leave mine here attached and just sort of lean it against the printer. Now, depending on why you were taking apart your housing in the first place, you may not need to remove this green panel at all. But if you are looking to do so, the final screw securing it is located in the top right corner, sort of near the back of the machine. And you'll want to go inside your printer and loosen the back panel using the screws on the inside near the back. With all of that removed and loosened, you should be able to sort of pry and wiggle the entire side panel away from the printer, but keep in mind that there are various latches sort of holding it in place So just move slowly. There are latches along all of the different sides, as well as one inside the filament area itself. So just go nice and slow. Try not to break any of the clips, but if you do, it's not the end of the world. And there you go. So now I have removed the front panel, I've removed the side panel, and I have pretty good access at this point to any variety of components I might need to access to troubleshoot on my 3D printer. When you're done with your troubleshooting, you need to reassemble it. This panel is both the hardest to remove and the hardest to get back in, but you're going to start and just try and line it up as best you can, sort of along the bottom edge is my tactic, and then tilt it into place, making sure I tuck this little panel here in the middle down. Whew, got it. All right, now we can secure it using the longer screw at the back to just hold it in place while we get the rest of the machine put back together. To reattach the front panel, line up these pegs along the bottom with their corresponding slots, and then try and hook from the bottom up each of these side sort of little attachment pegs. It may take a little force. Once everything's lined back up, replace the 2 screws on the inside edge and the 1 screw on the outside, securing it into position. Now if you'd like, you are welcome to try to replace this screw here on the inside area, but in my experience it is very difficult to do so successfully without dropping the screw back into the printer, and it's not terribly structural, so you can leave it off and your printer will be just fine. Then reinstall the screw on the inside of the printer. With those all reattached, you're ready to reinstall your top panel. To do that, just sort of line it up with the back edge to get those clips into place and tilt it forward. Now you will need to reattach it into each of these different side notch areas, and start with the right and back sides while doing that. With those in position, it should be easy to get the left side in, because this is the side that has a little bit of flex from where we loosened the screws earlier. There you go. You can now go into the inside of your printer to tighten the screws that we loosened in here, and then you'll install your final 2 screws up at the top of the printer here, and your last 2 screws into the side of the printer over here. After that, you're good to go.